What's up, everybody? Welcome back to JNL Sports. I'm your host, Logan, and in today's video, I want to talk about Ohio State versus Notre Dame. And can Notre Dame pull off the ultimate upset? But before we get into it, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and get right into the first topic, shall we? Which is Marcus Freeman. Let's just be real here. Marcus Freeman versus Ryan Day is the first topic of this video. And the biggest thing here is the fact that Ryan Day, let's be real, he's been here before. He's been here a lot before. He's been to the playoffs so many times, he's probably lost count. He knows what to expect. He knows what he's coaching against, and he knows what this other team is going to do because this is one of the biggest games of their whole entire college football life. So he knows what's going to happen 100%, and he's got a game plan ready to go that's going to give Marcus Freeman fits. We know this, but can Marcus Freeman return the favor? Can Marcus Freeman return the favor? Can he go out there and put on one hell of a game plan to make Ryan Day confused? One of the best coaches in the nation, Ryan Day. Can he come out there and do some schematic things, maybe some trick plays that, Ohio State hasn't seen yet? Maybe go out there and do some things that Ohio State's just not used to, like run the quarterback a lot. Go out there, run Jeremiah Love in some like wildcat formations and things of that nature. Can you get creative without getting too cute and killing yourself at the game? You know what I mean? Like, can you do that? If you can, then I think they got a decent shot at beating Ohio State. But the biggest issue that I see in this game for Notre Dame is the fact, this is our second point, is Jack Sawyer in that front seven versus Riley Leonard. Now, the reason I bring this up is because if you watched the game that Ohio State recently won against Texas, number one thing that stood out to me was the fact that the front seven of Ohio State just straight up dominated Texas. Whenever I say that, I mean the front seven dominated them so much that the front seven literally won them the game and put them in the national championship. That is how much they dominated. Jack Sawyer coming around the edge, getting strip sack on Quinn Ewers and taking it to the crib. One of the coolest plays of the whole entire playoff, by the way. Like, what a freaking play. But still, that's how they got there. Think about this. What if they find a way to neutralize Jack Sawyer? Well, you got everybody else that's going to be coming in, causing issues that are also phenomenal five-star athletes that are going to go in there and assault Riley Leonard. So now you're probably asking me in the comment section, okay, Logan, so you have all these things going against Riley Leonard. What do you do to protect Riley Leonard from this BS? Like, what do you do to protect him at all costs to make sure that he is safe and he can move the ball down the field and throw dots into tight windows and all the things he's going to have to do against one of the best secondaries in the country as well? You have to block the running back and the tight end, which is going to suck for Notre Dame because doing that means that one of the best, if not the best pass catchers on their entire team, which is their tight end, can't be a receiver. He can't be a target basically this whole entire game. So that's going to be very difficult for them to navigate. It's going to be insanely difficult for them to navigate because they've never had to play a game before where the tight end was a non-factor. You know what I mean? Like, the tight end has always been one of their biggest targets that comes up in the biggest moments. But there are ways you can kind of scheme. And what I mean by that is block him for 2 plays, and then if it's third down, do a chip block where he goes out, runs a quick route, and you can throw him the football. That way you could get him involved like that. But when you do plays like that with the tight end and with the running back, you are running a massive risk of Jack Sawyer or one of his other hellions up front getting in there and beating up Riley Leonard. You do not want that to happen. If Riley Leonard gets beat up by this Ohio State front seven, Ohio State's going to win the game. Plain and simple. Like, I don't even care if Notre Dame's defense is playing good. If the front seven of Ohio State takes over, this game is done. So you have to find that happy medium of getting the ball to your best playmaker, which is your tight end, in my opinion, getting him the football in space, but also making sure that you block him a lot so that you can protect Riley Leonard and Riley Leonard doesn't get shook, because Riley Leonard can see some ghosts if he gets hit enough times by Jack Sawyer or the other guys up there. You know what I mean? Like, he can get to where he becomes Sam Darnold and he gets freaked out and there's like 9 sacks and 3 turnovers. You know what I mean? It could become really bad. So we need to keep him upright if you want for him to win. And what I mean by that is that Jack Sawyer is just a legendary athlete who's going to be pounding on that offensive line like crazy. He's going to be beating them up. He's going to be wearing them down the whole entire game. So we have to be ready and aware that there is a good chance that he's just gonna beat the crap out of them, run past them, and get to Riley Leonard nonstop constantly in the second half. There is a reality where that happened. This could be the game. This front seven matchup and how Riley Leonard handles it in terms of taking the pressure and making plays, that could be the game 100%, because everybody knows Games are won in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, depending who's dominating there the most, probably win this game. We got one last thing we want to talk about going into this. This is very underrated, this last part, and that is tight ends and wide receivers versus the secondary. And I brought this up earlier because Ohio State has one of the best secondaries in the country with Caleb Downs, who in my opinion is probably the best secondary player in the entire nation. Okay, so that's something that we need to break down because Caleb Downs is a guy that it's impossible to trick him. It's impossible to get the ball past him if he knows it's coming. So how do you scheme a ball past a guy who knows it's going over his head and knows it's in front of him at all times, damn near? This is where that comes in. You ready? We're going to run plays that disguise. And what I mean by that is we're going to run decoys at him. So we're going to run a deep post that's a decoy, throw the ball underneath to an in route. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's what you need to do to beat Caleb Downs. You got to force Caleb Downs to care about a danger route so that you can throw the ball underneath him and he can't jump it. That's what you got to do. That's all you can do against Caleb Downs. If you do anything else, Caleb Downs might have 3 picks and a pick 6 this game. I'm going to be real. He's that good. So Riley Leonard and this offensive staff need to work together to put a game plan together where they are constantly tricking Caleb Downs, because Caleb Downs, just like Jack Sawyer, is a guy who can take a game over. He's a guy that can get multiple picks. He's a guy that can ruin a game. He's a guy that can win you a national championship. He really is. He's one of those guys who's really good. If they want any hope upsetting Ohio State, they got to neutralize Jack Sawyer to an extent. He's going to get a couple sacks because it's Jack Sawyer we're talking about, but don't let him get 4 or 5. Just let him have 1 or 2. And on top of that, we also need to trick Caleb Downs. And this is where I get into the fact of picking the winner and why I'm picking Ohio State. I know Notre Dame fans are probably pissed right now because they're like, this whole video is about how Notre Dame can get an upset and you don't even think it's possible. Just listen to what I just said. You are hoping that the best pass rusher in the last 2-3 years coming out of college is literally going to get neutralized to a point where he only has 1 or 2 sacks. Very unlikely. You also are hoping that the other guys around him, if he does get neutralized, don't eat based off him being neutralized. More than likely not going to happen. And on top of that, you're also hoping that the secondary, which is by far the best in the nation, does absolutely nothing, which is, again, a hard ask, damn near impossible, may I add. You're asking for a bunch of low percentage to impossible things to happen. Now, I will say this. I am going for Notre Dame. I want Marcus Freeman to get his big win, but I just don't see it. I said from the beginning, Ohio State or Oregon's winning the national championship. Said it from the very beginning, and I'm sticking to it. Ohio State's winning. Now, could it be a close game? Of course. I mean, it's not like Notre Dame sucks or nothing. They're still a very talented team. I just look at who's better and who's worse. And in my opinion, no debate, no question, Ohio State from top to bottom is the best team in the country. The only reason they weren't the number 1 seed is because they lost, I think they actually lost twice to Oregon, if I remember correctly, which is why I was initially picking Oregon to win it all, because I thought between the two, Oregon proved they were the better team. Clearly not. When it mattered, Oregon crumbled like a cookie. That's football, folks. And that's why you need to watch this national championship, because anybody could win at any time. Anybody could get hot at any time. Anybody can get cold at any time. So that's why you gotta watch the game. You can't give up on your team. You gotta watch Notre Dame and see what they do, because Notre Dame is a team that nobody's gonna believe in. Damn sure nobody's gonna pick them. I'm gonna be real. But they have that dog in them. They have that coach in Marcus Freeman that's going to tell them, no matter who's across the field from you, you're the best team in football. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the fans got to say. You're the best team on this field. And he is so convincing that he is going to make Notre Dame believe that. And that's what's going to make this a good game, in my opinion. So you need to watch it if you're a Notre Dame fan. I may have just shot your hopes down at the end of this video, and that was not the goal. I'm sorry if that's the case. But seriously, this is a game that if Marcus Freeman does everything right, if Riley Leonard does everything right, and everything goes the way it's supposed to, Notre Dame can upset Ohio State. And the last thing I want to talk about is how Notre Dame's defense matches up to Ohio State's offense. And let me just tell you guys, it ain't pretty. I mean, you guys have a really good defense with some really good high caliber talent on it, but Jeremiah Smith, Will Howard, and the boys are going to cause some problems. Emeka Egbuka too. I mean, the fact that you have to double team Jeremiah Smith and worry about Emeka Egbuka is just not a recipe for success whatsoever. So let me just tell you right now, I don't like your defense against Ohio State at all. I'm going to be real. I just don't don't think the matchups are favorable. That's why I wanted to start this video by saying the offense is going to have to really go to work, because I just don't think defensively you're really going to be there to beat up on this team. I just don't think you guys can do it. I'm going to be real. I don't know. I mean, maybe you prove me wrong. I'd be very happy to see that, because again, I am going for Notre Dame, but like, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where I just don't have any faith in this defense, and it's only because of the opponent. I will say that. Like, I have faith in the defense when they play other people, but this opponent has the best receiving core in the whole entire country as well, with one of the best young receivers, period. So just good luck with that, man. It's going to be very hard. But anyways, guys, I digress. I'm done rambling. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you believe in Notre Dame? I personally don't, but if you do, drop a comment down below and let me know how you feel about this game. And then on top of all of that stuff, let me know if you guys like Marcus Freeman as much as I do. Like, if you're a Notre Dame fan and you think he's an underrated coach, please put it down below in the comments. I don't want to think I'm the only one who thinks that he's underrated and phenomenal. And then on top of all of that, hit the like button. And we want to keep growing this channel. As I said, hit the subscribe button, because we are trying to hit 500 subs by June. We're trying to get there. So please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so we can hit it by June. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Jackson should be here potentially for the next video, and peace out.